Welcome to Compression, the quest to $100 million in just 1 year. Join me, your host, Logan Freeman, in this one-of-a-kind interactive podcast experience where I am on a quest to compress 3 years of achievement and production into 12 months. And no, the answer is not to just work harder. I'm bringing you not only ideas and concepts that are complete at the theoretical level, but they're also effective at the applied level. Look, guys, knowledge is not power. It is potential power. Knowledge plus massive strategic action equals power. We're talking about strategy, systems, accountability, all in real time. This is Compression.
Welcome back to another episode of the Upgraded Compression Podcast. Okay, so upgraded the camera early on this year. Had to get you guys some better audio quality. Took a little bit of time. My man Jerome even sent me a mixer that I haven't plugged in yet. I found out I probably actually don't need it. So hopefully the audio quality from Logan is coming up, taking it up a notch, because I got this new boom. I got this new mic. It's got a blue little light that's, lighting me up every time I turn it on. Guess what? That's a trigger, baby. We are here compressing time, compressing results. And I am stoked for this week because I had a lot of action items from the last week's episode, if you guys remember that. And I had a swift kick in the rear on Tuesday morning at 7:45 at my doctor's office. So I'm going to cover that. The intentionality this week: loss, kick in the rear, momentum, winning. Those are the four things that you're going to get out of this episode. And I'm going to start with the loss. Jerome doesn't even know this. It's the first time he's hearing this. My grandma passed away this week. She got COVID-19, and unfortunately, she passed away. So I'm going to be going back to Jeff City on Monday. And it's been a long time, with my grandma's health. Believe it or not, she's one of the, not this, don't believe this or not, believe this, because she is one of the toughest ladies I've ever met. Folks that just went through the Great Depression and things like that back in the day, man, it's just a different breed of people. It's hard to find that kind of toughness, that kind of hardness, that grittiness, the sandpaper that my grandma brought to every scenario. But 7 or 8 years ago, she was hit by a truck out front of her house, picking up her mail. She recovered from that. Early onset dementia started then, and she was still in the house, and she had 25 wooden stairs. She got up in the middle of the night and unfortunately fell down those stairs. And after recovering from a broken back, she broke her neck, and that didn't help, obviously, at all. You can imagine being 82 years old and breaking your back 1 year and your neck the next. And so it's been a big, I think, weight on my mom, because my mom's the only one back in Jeff City still. And she was caring for my grandma every single day. And it's been really tough. So my mom, even though she was fully vaccinated, caught COVID-19. I'm guessing the Delta variant. Her 94-year-old husband, my grandma's 94-year-old husband, not my mom, he caught COVID-19 as well. Of course, that guy beat it like this. He's unbreakable. Another Great Depression dude. And then my grandma, with all of her other health issues already coming on, she had a bladder infection, all these other things. She didn't make it. And so it's crazy. Fully vaccinated, 2 out of the 3. My grandma was not, because we couldn't physically move her to get vaccinated in time. So that was sad. But at the end of the day, that's the loss piece. So I'm dealing with that. I'm stepping up in the family. I'm writing the eulogy, and I'm going to get in front of my whole family, extended family. And my mom was very grateful that I'm going to do that. So I got to spend some time writing a eulogy. This will be my second eulogy that I have written in my life, and it's not a fun process to go through. I pour myself into these things, and I just hope that I can bring some of my grandma to life, so to speak, and celebrate her on Monday. So that's loss. What else did I say? We said kick in the rear. Okay, so the kick in the rear. All right, we're going to cover this in the wins and the losses, but I'm going to set the tone really quickly here. So I dubbed, this year as the year of health for me. And really, I was trying to dominate getting back into physical activity and working out. COVID-19 really kind of set me on a walking schedule, which was great. But guess what? My body got really comfortable walking 10,000 steps a day. I think that Jerome and I tracked it at the end of the last year. I think I was at 7 million steps that year, and you were at like 10 million or 9 million, pretty close. So I'm definitely not going to catch you. But what I learned through that is I had to start doing other things. I had to break that routine to get my heart rate, my body adapting to getting back to burning fat, and so I started working out again, and I had a little bit of setback last year with the old ankle injury that I had and all that stuff. But what I learned on Tuesday was, when my wife and I got married, I was 245 pounds, and I stepped on the scale at the doctor's office, and you heard this here first. Now, I did have my clothes on, and I got probably a pound of hair. So on my head, guys, not on my body, on my head. I'm growing this beautiful head of hair out. So you could take at least 2 pounds off, but I was 285 when I stepped on that scale. And that was a big wake up moment. I've been scared. I've been scared to step on the scale. I've been fearful to get on the scale. And that guy just said, "Hey, you got to do this. This is a part of the process. You have to step on the scale today." I was not prepared to do that. And I actually, the appointment was supposed to be in August. So I said, "Hey, I still got 30 days to lose some weight before I step on the scale." And then boom, he said, "Nope, I need to see you on Tuesday at 7:45. And this was on Friday. So I didn't really have any choice. So 285 pounds. And that's the day that I texted Jerome and said, "I got to drop 25. I got to drop 25. And I'm trying to get back to my wedding weight, 200, right around 250 pounds. I stepped on the scale today because I'm now tracking all of this, and we'll talk about this more, what I'm doing to lose this weight. You guys will go on this accountability and this mission with me, because it's going to be very important over the next 6 months that this weight gets off of my body. But at the end of the day, I was 275 today, which made me feel really, really good. So I'm going to use my scale home at home. I'm starting at 275, trying to get down to 250 and making some better choices. And we'll talk about some of the implementation that I've already done that has just helped me be more mindful of the amount of food and the type of food that I'm putting into my body. So I got my lab results back. We'll talk about those as well. Momentum. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at $60 million of commercial real estate. 60 million for the year, boys and girls. And that number just blows my mind when I think about that. And I'm pretty pumped about some other transactions that we've got in the works. And I just, you heard it here first, but I just toured a $35 million property here in Kansas City that I think I'm going to get, which would be huge. So at the end of the day, that $100 million mark, that we set, I feel pretty confident about. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get that $35 million deal, but I'm really proud of being at 60 million right now, what we have done with our business and the radical transparency we've put in, the systems, the processes. Woo-wee! We got it rolling here in Kansas City. I got more things than I know what to do with on that front. So that's the momentum piece. What was the last one, Jerome, that I said was the intentionality for today?
Man, I don't know. I'm caught up in all the things I want to say about what you already said. I lost track. I'm sorry.
Okay, it was loss, momentum, kick in the rear, and something else. We'll figure out what the last one was. But that's the intentionality for today. You're going to get a lot of stuff that I've been talking about. Oh, winning was the last one. Winning. All right. So I finished the book, Tim Grover, Winning, and I've got some awesome quotes and some action steps from that book. So I'm gonna stop there, Jerome. Let's dive into the intentionality for the week and where you want to start, and you want to dive a little bit deeper.
Winning the book. You're winning, dude. First, you're winning, like just overall. Second, like we think about grandma, and who's actually going to speak on behalf of grandma when grandma can't speak anymore? To be the person chosen to be honored with that opportunity, I think it demonstrates that you're living the life that you're setting out to live. You're being the role model and the example that you want to be. And
that's right.
I think death can, make us really sad and we can mourn, or it can make us excited and we can celebrate the great things that happen. You know, you're talking about grit and uh, durability and strength and
Yeah.
endurance. And, you know, when you think about Logan, I think most people use those same words.
Yep.
Right. And so to see that example for multiple generations and then get the opportunity to share your thoughts on that and hopefully be the embodiment of those positive characteristics, I think goes a really long way. So definitely saddened to hear about your loss, but it sounds like she lived a long, healthy, productive life. And,
Yes.
you know, bad things happen sometimes, but I don't actually consider being able to rest to be a bad thing. So
Not in her position. I mean, she is definitely, you hear this cliche, you're in a better place and you're at peace. I could tell you my grandma was not at peace for years. And so, frankly, it was a benefit or a positive in this scenario, not only for my grandma, but for my mom, my mom's mental health, physical health, and all of that. We will go through the grieving process. We'll take care of it. I already set up the meal for 60 people. I made one call to Jeff City and the guy was like, don't say anymore. I got you. I got the space. I got the food. It's all there. 1:00 on Monday. I'll see you. And he hung up the phone. And so, just being able to help step in and play my role in this scenario is going to be really big. And, loss, T keeps asking me, how you feeling and how you doing with the loss. And, I've dealt with loss before, multiple times. My grandma lost 2 of her sons right after I lost my dad. So we went through my dad, 2 of my uncles in the next 2 years. She's already lost her other daughter in a car wreck. There's been a lot of loss on that side of the family. But I know how to deal with these things now. But on Tuesday, when we found out, T was texting me, and I was super busy. I mean, just back to back to back. Tuesdays are the call days, and we're in the middle of a lot of projects. And so I didn't have a lot of time to think about it, but I did have like 5 minutes one time. And it kind of hit me. I just said, man, I feel some sadness in this, but at the same time, I don't let that really fester too much. I don't know. I grieve a little bit differently, I think, than other people. What I'm learning about myself is, I'm an individualist, which is important. I posted that on LinkedIn today, but at the same time, I'm an executor. And so those two paired together is really good because I have achiever, discipline, focus, learner, and an individualization as my top 5. And, those 3, achiever, discipline, and focus, are all execution focus. And so I can understand where somebody's at, what they need, and then I actually go take action. I'm not trying to fix anything. I learned early on, I put this on LinkedIn as well. It got some people kind of riled up earlier this week. By the way, dominated LinkedIn this week. That's a huge win. I mean, like, dominated with over 20,000 views on posts this week on 3 posts. I mean, come on, guys. Organic, baby. That was super awesome. That was awesome that happened. And, one of them was about my first deal. One of them was about, waking up at 4 a.m. and I forgot what the last one was, but all 3 of those really got a lot of love. Oh, it was the political cartoon that I posted about the market. It was a lot of fun. I have that. I need to get that printed out and put up on my wall. But, I think that at the end of the day, being able to be there for my mom, for my sisters, for my family, step up, say some good words, some, impactful words is a big step for me. T's, stepping right behind me and support me along the way. Whatever we need to do, we're going to do and take care of it. So just another week that puts everything else in perspective. Taylor and I have been, one of my big action items was staying curious with Taylor and being present. And I can tell you what, guys, getting away from that little mini computer in my pocket is a game changer. Hey, when it's not there, you can't pick it up and you can't check it. So been keeping that thing away from me in the evenings, been keeping it, distanced, and the boundaries I'm setting on that is really, really good. That's one of the big wins from the week, but also just staying more curious with her. She's really struggling right now. Really struggling with work, with staying at home, and I don't know the best way to shepherd her through this. I mean, it's like the same talk track over and over again, but it kind of really came to a head this week. And she was very upset a few times, during the week, mostly because we had, I think, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all with the kiddos around the vacation. So it was hard for her to be away from them on Monday too. But, at least I had some more margin, a little bit more margin in my schedule to stay curious. And then when I was spending time with her, making sure I was not on my phone. And, I'm on my phone a lot, and it's not because I'm scrolling social media. It's, why? I'm reading. I subscribe to Wall Street Journal, and I'm obsessed with it. The economics piece on Wall Street Journal, what's going on. I just love their app. I love to read the paper on my phone. And so I have to distance that because, even though she sees me on my phone, I'm reading. I'm not doing anything unproductive. For me, it's like, hey, we're watching TV. I'm reading, but she wants me there. She wants me to be present, and that's totally fine. So, some other big things, man. We're gonna tease this a little bit, but confirm that we'll be in St. Lucia in March for Jerome's extraction event. You better get on that list quick because those spots are going to go quick. Trying to figure out if I'm taking the kids or T's just going to come or what, but I got to make sure that Logan's got his spot for sure, which I definitely am going to be there. I'm super stoked about that. But also in October, I'm going to join the Raise Masters program down in Austin. They're doing a little retreat. Going to meet some of these guys, go down to Austin and take some time, do some masterminding. It's going to be a great kind of fourth quarter. That's fourth quarter, right? July, August, September. Yeah, fourth quarter. Kind of reset, get me focused on what 2022 looks like. I cannot believe it's 2022, already thinking about that. But that's a huge win too. So planning out these events that get me in the mood, in the mindset of planning for the future is really, really important as well. So things I was trying to get done this week: pray more. When I was tempted to do anything I wasn't supposed to do, pray and be with Taylor when I'm there. So the presence piece, put the phone away and be there. And then taking the next steps on some of these projects that we've got going on. So obviously we got our big 162 unit deal coming up here on a close pretty soon. Got my 40,000 square foot office building coming up, closing the same exact time. Still need some equity for that project. We got a 100 unit deal in Lincoln, Nebraska. I've got another 105 units in KCK coming up. And then I also got 352 units that I'm trying to win here in Kansas City. And so, trying to take the next steps on every single one of those and make sure I'm staying intentional about that. That's what I was trying to get done. And it was a very productive week on all of those fronts. So,
and with all that said, you still had time to finish Winning by Tim Grover.
Absolutely. I got the Audible version. It's on my walks, on my runs in the mornings, every single morning. Yeah. So
you sent me a message. Let me see if I can find the message. Cause this was hilarious. Cause I just read it when you sent, like right before you sent it. Winning is not a marathon. It's a sprint with no finish line. Yes, Rome was not built in a day. It was built every day for thousands of days. What did you take away from that?
Gave me peace. It gave me peace because I'm sprinting all the time. When somebody asks me, hey, how's it going? I just say, I'm sprinting. And I don't say, oh, it's going good, or hey, I'm busy or anything like that. I'm sprinting. That's my response now. And you know what this book gave me was the ability to accept who I am, right? He talks about the dark side in there. And I don't really label my dark side as the dark side. It is my dark side. I have to be careful because I could do this, 24/7 if I really wanted to. So I have to put the dark side away on that front. But I don't necessarily have a dark side when it comes to, addictions or things like that. I have an addiction to creating and buying myself and my family more time in the future. That's what I've learned. But it gave me the peace to realize, hey, there's people out there like you. There's a lot of people out there like you. Well, maybe not a lot, but there is a percentage of people out there like you, and it's okay. It's okay to swing in and be that guy and then swing back out. And it's okay to feel, like every moment that you're sleeping, somebody's tapping on your shoulder and saying, "You getting up yet? You getting up yet? Hey, are you going to work yet? You getting better?" I've got that little voice in my head all the time, and he's always chirping. He's always chirping. It's like, "Hey man, what you doing? What you doing?" And so I have to watch that really quick, closely, in the sense that, I got to give myself some me time. And, Fridays are some of my favorite days, because in the mornings from Fridays, it's for me, and I get the kids to school, and then until noon, when we do this podcast, it's really for me. And I started to bake in some fun time for Logan. And I'm realizing that time is actually making me more productive. And I love that. That's where the brilliance is coming from. And I'm a very competitive guy. And now I know why. I always was confused why Michael Jordan loved to play golf so much. I was like, man, golf is this old man sport. You go out there, you get dressed up, you hit a little white ball around, and it's really hard. But it's because you can never play a perfect round of golf. And so striving for that excellence is what drives people to play. And I can tell you guys, I got the golf bug. And so now that it's nice here in Kansas City, I found myself a little 9-hole course that's, $17 to play. I can get done in an hour and a half. If anybody wants to meet with me, you're coming to the golf course now. So I don't care if you can't swing, you don't have a set of clubs. I got 2 of them, and I'm bringing them both, and we're playing some golf, because I just need that time to craft my skill. Right after this, in 30 minutes, I'm going to get up. I got my golf clothes on already, and I'm going to get my lessons. When I take this stuff seriously, I'm trying to hone this craft, man. And so I've got an expert that is saying, hey, you're going to meet with me 2 times a month for the next 10 months. And we're going to hone this thing in for you. So I'm not taking it lightly, but it's because I'm addicted. I'm addicted to being better, into honing a craft. And I can also get away a little bit. It's really hard. You don't get a lot of service on golf courses. You don't have a lot of time to check your phone. It's a really nice place for me to kind of be able to get in flow on something else and focus on it. And so I'm super stoked about that as well. It's just a fun thing for me to look forward to, other than just, pounding the pavement every single day, all the time. So I'm pretty excited about that, man.
So in the book Winning, Tim labels every chapter number 1, and then he changes words after it. And so one chapter is called Winning Takes You to Hell, and if you quit, that's where you'll stay.
That's right.
And the second page of that chapter, he says something that touched my soul. He said, I cherish being the last call someone makes when nothing is working.
That's right.
And when you're the guy, right, that people turn to when they've exhausted all other resources, you can fix things. It just takes you to a level of significance that other people will never reach, because they're not the person that calls. It also probably means that you charge more than other people, because they tried all the cheap things before they got to the thing that was actually going to solve the problem for them. And so why am I reading that? You got to find the folks who can actually bring your thoughts to life.
Yep.
Right. I want to be the guy. And, I don't actually prefer to be the last call. I want to be the first call, but I want to be the first call because they don't want to make any other phone calls.
That's right.
Right. And, this for me is funny. Like, Logan's got that picture of Kobe in the background, and I literally feel like Tim out here. This is why compression is so exciting for me. I feel like this guy is out here, and I think everybody that competes at the apex performer level is addicted. They have an addictive personality. Yeah. And they just choose to channel it into things that help take their life and those closest to them to that next level. That's right. And they keep talking about leveling up. I don't think you guys have any understanding of how often, or maybe I'll use my big words, how frequently Logan talks about leveling up. Right? He's like, oh, this thing could be a little bit better. Let me tweak this. And it's never anything huge. it's just a little twist here and a little twist there. And more of what you'll find doing the golf thing is, just changing that tilt of the head a little bit. It's going to dramatically change where the ball goes. And it can be a very big difference in the number of strokes at the end of the game.
Yep.
And when you're already doing things well, and this is the trap, right? When we get stuck at good instead of going to great. When we get to the place and it's like, ooh, I'm doing good, I don't need to do anything else. That's where you get trapped.
That's right.
If you think that you can just take your foot off the gas and coast on through, just know that somebody is sprinting like hell to catch you.
Yeah, man.
And they're going to run by you like you are standing still because they've already got the momentum and you've taken your foot off the gas. You're just going to coast on through. And maybe that's okay for you. But if it is, you're probably not a compressor.
The way that Tim put this, that I saw on the internet, on YouTube, he put a video up of the guy who won either the Boston or New York City Marathon, and he averaged on average a mile time of 5:15. Anybody else when's the last time you ran a mile? It takes me no less than 10 minutes to run a mile. And that's on a good pace for me. Now, again, you heard how soft I am at 285 pounds right now, but so I'm not, 135 pound runner, but at the end of the day, that guy's he's running 2 miles in the time it's taking me to one. But I also have to stop after one. He ran 26.2 of those at 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Tell me that's not a sprint. Tell me that guy's not sprinting the whole way. Success is not a marathon. It is a sprint with no finish line. And so if you're not sprinting every single day, you're getting passed by. And I'm not willing to be passed by. And here's the other thing that I just want to make sure people understand is I stopped comparing myself to a lot of other people a while ago, because the moment you start comparing yourself to other people is the moment you're going to lose your inspiration and motivation, because you just don't know where somebody is along their journey. You don't know what benefits or things they've been through that impact them in a certain way. So stop comparing yourself to other people, because if you do that, you'll never get started. In my inspiration, ideas, and resources board that I'm looking at right now, I have one that says the time is now. And James Clear is the guy when it comes to the time is now. I have 5 or 6 quotes from James Clear that says, that just backs up the time is now. So when anybody ever asks me, how do you get started? I just pop over to this inspiration, ideas, and resources board. I pick one of those quotes and send it to them, and I never hear from them again. And that's okay. That's okay, because somebody's looking for the easy button. Ding, ding. They want that easy button. And there is no easy button. The problem with, getting started or being better is that if you're trying to compare yourself to somebody else, you'll never get started, because you're already demoted yourself to a level underneath somebody else. What you have to realize is you are you. You are you. And you've made the past decisions, up to this point that put you where you're at. And I'm a, overnight success, 8 years in the making, and I keep telling Jerome this. When we think about the plane coming off the runway, I don't even think I've taken off yet. He said I should stop telling people that, because I think I've taken off maybe a little bit, but I'm not at the cruising altitude. I'm not even, I'm on the wheels are just coming off the runway, man. I mean, we got a long ways to go, and it's always going to be that way. It's always going to be that way, and so I'm just going to be redirecting it somewhere else. But that's the mentality you got to have.
Yeah, and Joe Rogan was interviewing David Goggins, and he does this crazy laugh, and he's like, "What are you laughing about, man?" He said, "There is no end, my friend."
Yeah.
And I mean, that just sends me over the edge all the time. But to the point about comparing folks, and so I had the fortune of talking to a few other coaches this week, and one of them was interviewed on the Dreamcatchers podcast. Crazy story. Can't wait for that one to drop. But the kid was given up by his mom in the foster care system. One of the families that he lived with had an older boy that was bullying him. And the worst experience the guy had was being made to lick the soles clean of all of the little boy's shoes that were playing with him in the neighborhood. So imagine like rocks being drug across your tongue until they're all gone. And, you know, all he could think is my mom doesn't even want me. So I guess this is what life is going to be. And like this dude went on to be in the NFL and now he changes people's lives. And when I look at what he charges for coaching, I'm like, I can't even count that high. Like, what are you promising people for them to give you that much money?
Yep.
And then I sat back and I thought, and I was like, you know, when I think about where I started and like having both of my parents and being able to go to engineering school and get scholarships and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, what I really took away was like, this dude had to grow legs to even get started.
That's right.
And so would I trade my experience for his just so I made more money with the people I work with? I wouldn't, right? And so just because you're at whatever, right? Your goal may not be 100 million this year. It may be 1 billion, or it might be 10,000.
That's right.
Whatever the case is, like run your race and run your race to the best that you can. And when you're ready to level up, engage with somebody who can help you get those results.
You have to.
Because every person that's performing at a high level has some form of an advisor. And you're cheating yourself if you think that you're going to walk through this life and not have that guidance around you. If you want to make significant shifts, big gains, and, you know, Logan's a great example of people who are making that investment. You know, Race Masters is pretty difficult to get in and it ain't cheap.
Yep.
You've got to surround yourself with those people who are playing that game. Anything else, you're fooling yourself. You're delusional in your attempt to go to that next level, because there is a price of admission.
Yes.
There always is a price of admission.
Yeah. If you think you can do it yourself, you've already lost. So I'll just leave it at that. I mean, you're not going to do it. I tried to do it for a certain amount of years by myself, you know, and it got me so far, but then I was like, you know, fired, nowhere to go from there. And I started to say, man, I got to get some help. I got to get some help. Now I've found some help. All these books, if anybody ever gets to see this office, there's these bookshelves, they might stop here on the video. They go up to the ceiling. Okay. And I'm running out of space and I need more time to read them. And we'll talk about that at a later time, but it's so important, man. I mean, you can't see what you can't see, because you see the life and you see the world the way that you want to see it. And that is a blinded way. It's just like this golf coach, right? Like I go out there and swing and I'm like, man, that feels really good. You know, and he videotapes it and shows me. I'm like, whoa, is that Charles Barkley swinging a golf club? Like, what is that? You know, but that's a prime example. You know, you can't see things that you can't see because you see the world the way that you want to see it. And without other people objectively looking in, it's really tough to make those, you know, quantum leaps in real time as well, in real time. So, all right, we're going to move on, man, to we've already talked about the big wins from this week. I've already covered most of them. Some of the losses, you know, definitely not getting enough sleep. You know, I think that's one thing that I'm going to have to tackle in the coming quarters after I get my weight feeling good. And I feel that program where I'm a habit stack on finding some more time to sleep and probably getting better sleep. I think it has something to do with probably a wind down routine. Not enough margin this week. I felt like I was kind of running from place to place. Now it was a short week, and I realized that, you know, we didn't have Monday, but I sat in front of these three screens that I've got right here for 6 hours on Monday and pounded through 277 emails. And so that's not the best use of my time. So there's a loss there. Getting that off of my plate and making sure that, you know, people are getting responded to and I'm getting through my email. I took some steps this week, putting you guys up on game. Unroll.me. I'm a guy who has a ton of email subscriptions because I love to see what's coming in and what's happening. Unroll.me will allow you to mass unsubscribe if you want, and you might have been put on lists from other people that you didn't ask to be put on. And so you can mass unsubscribe by check marks, which is really helpful. But also you can pick the ones you want to keep in your inbox and the ones you want compiled into one email, and you can pull that email up a certain part of the day. It's very helpful for me because, you know, whenever a new article comes in from Wall Street Journal, Kansas City Business Journal, I want to pop in there and read it real quick. But now I don't even see them until that one unroll.me email is sent. So there's some really cool tools there, putting you guys up on game. So not enough margin. So got to figure out, you know, how to put more margin back in my calendar a little bit, and too much low value tasks. And then, I think the loss was, I let myself get to the point where I'm at with my weight, right? I got all of the excuses. I've already got them lined up, boys and girls. I got them right here. Started a business, got married, had 2 kids, COVID-19, all of this stuff, all excuses. Excuses are like, I'm not going to say it, but it's like something on, it's like something on everybody's body that they've got, and they all stink, right? So at the end of the day, excuses are just what they are. They're excuses. So taking some extreme ownership on that, and taking those steps on my health has, shown Taylor that that's important to me, and she's really backing me up on it, and very happy about that. And guess what? Guess what Taylor did for the first time in 2.5 years? Went to Orange Theory this week. I just got done massaging her legs for 10 minutes because she's having a hard time walking because she's so sore. But I don't know why it was this week. Maybe it was because I'm focused on my health. It inspired her to do the same thing, but I want to help her, find that time for herself as well. I mean, in the morning, she gives so much to those kids, to me, and she needs to find that me time. But that was a huge win too. I didn't even write down. That's coming to me now is, she's going back to Orange Theory and signed back up, and, going to try to find 2 times a week to do that. And that's a big win because I want her to have that time for herself. So some of the big learnings, you guys, this is it right here. This is a big one. This is from the Marines or the Navy SEALs, maybe one of the two, but slow is smooth and smooth is fast. If you ever start dropping stuff, running into walls, maybe this is just me because I'm, 285 pounds and don't fit through normal doorways, but let me just make the analogy here, or the metaphor, whatever you want to call it. You start dropping stuff, you start feeling like you're in a rush. You forget to put your seatbelt on, you're doing something while you're driving or something else. It's because you're trying to do too much. You got to slow down. You got to slow down to go fast. So, earlier on this year, I'd find myself, rushing around, my bag, dropping stuff out, trying to get out the door, holding 2 kids, getting them to daycare. And I've just slowed down. I try not to do so much in the morning, and I've really enjoyed that, and reinvented my morning routine for myself to slow is smooth, smooth is fast. When you have to go back and redo things because you were in a rush, just like this mic, but it actually ended up working okay. I might have to ship this thing back to you now, Jay. Actually, we need to get you to Kansas City sometime here in the future, so we'll just pick it up whenever you're here. But at the end of the day, that's really, really important, is to slow down to go fast. What my coaches always used to tell me was be quick, but don't hurry. Slow down to go fast. And I never understood it back then, but now I do. That was a big one. I think I touched on this, first principles thinking. And that's where you reverse engineer to unleash creative possibilities. And this is where brilliance is created. And this is something that everybody's going to have to do for themselves. But it's a way to break down complex ideas and theories into a way that you can create a mental model and understand how to make decisions better and for yourself. And this is where unique genius comes out. And that's what you're paid for out there in the marketplace. So make sure you're thinking about first principles thinking. If you don't understand something, don't just wipe it away and say, I wasn't a finance or economics major. Man, I'm in so deep to economics right now. I know I talk about it a little bit. I don't want to bore people, but I'm just fascinated with the federal government, the Fed, the Federal Reserve, Treasury yields and bonds and T-bonds, and how that affects interest rates, and why the investors yesterday sold out all of their risky stocks and went back into the Treasury yield, and then boom, guess what? I'm locking in rates, baby. I'm locking in rates right now because it's the lowest that it's been since February. Where's all the reflationary people? Where are you at? Yeah, well, I've been talking about this for 6 months now, right? The transitory. So anyways, long story short, man, you got to get to first principles thinking. That helped me raise over $500,000 on our last raise. I'm proud to say, just being able to talk about those things. And so whenever I'm in here reading my macroeconomics and microeconomics textbooks, and my wife is like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm raising capital, baby. I'm raising capital. That's all I can see is conversations that I'm not going to be stumped on, and how I'm going to get people over the finish line. And it's not because I'm trying to be smarter than you. I'm trying to understand it myself. so I can then make a better decision for myself and for our investors. I'm buying myself time. Everything I do, I'm buying myself time for the future. And first principles thinking is, also called reasoning from first principles. You gotta get in that for yourself. Break that stuff down and get excited about something, because that's where you're going to get paid for, is the brilliance there. Here's one. And this was, made apparent to me today. Lifestyle design is so important for me, and it brings joy to my life. Being able to do this every Friday, being able to get my workout in. The next 3 Fridays at 8:30, I got golf booked. Just all of that stuff. That is being able to design my life around what I'm trying to accomplish is so joyful for me, because I can tell you guys that I have not felt like I'm going to work, every single day for a long while. Now I'm in a position financially, real estate wise, business wise, that, you may not be, and that's okay. But guess what? There's a lot of other people that are in way different positions than I am. So I don't have to worry about, keeping the lights on, so to speak, anymore. I was there, 4 years ago. Trust me, I was there. And so that gives me a little bit more peace too. But all the decisions I made up to this point let me now design my life to say, okay, what's the busy work? Where's the $10,000 task? And what do I need to be focused on? So that's bringing me joy. And being able to work out at 10 in the morning on a Friday or whatever it is, and spend some time with T, have lunch with her. All of these things are really awesome, man. So these are all big learnings. You stole my quote for today, Jerome, but I am going to reiterate the quote. So you stole it from me from the beginning of the episode. Legitimately have it written down on my journal.
We didn't talk about this.
But before I do that, I wanted to open it up for you to tell us what extraction is about. And if any compression listeners are interested in extraction, give us the 2-minute download of what this event is and what people are going to get out of it.
Dude. So the 2-minute download, you're going to start the timer?
I got it.
No, so here's the thing, right? A few times a year, I leave the country and I go into a proverbial cave, and I prefer to go into a real cave if I can. And the whole idea there is to think, right? Because a lot of people are just so caught up in the whirlwind, the storm that exists in their life, that they don't ever actually extract themselves from their life and then think about if it is what they actually want. And in that moment, you don't have any clarity. And I believe that life is all about clarity. And I think changing your vantage point is one of the most important things you can do to see things clearly. And I'll give you a great example. Somebody will bring you a problem and you're like, the obvious answer to this is to do X. And the person can't see that because they're in the middle of it.
Yep.
And so I'm inviting people to come hang out with me in St. Lucia. I sent invitations to 50 people this morning. And for 20 spots, right? There's only 20 spots. We've got a room block, and we're going to do some deep work on the first day. We're going to start at lunchtime. We're going to go into the evening. It is a real work day. The next day, we're going to do some stuff in the morning, and then we're going to go out and reflect on the work that we did over the past 12 hours or whatever.
Yep.
And then you'll get to hang out. You'll get the network. Everybody there is going to be a very high income earner, and that's intentional.
Absolutely.
Right. I want to be surrounded by people who have capacity. And I think most other people do, but their fear usually is, well, what investment do I make, or what makes sense in order to do it? And so we decided to do it at something that's a very reasonable price. And if people really enjoy it, it's something that we're going to continue to do. It is the new formation of what I think is going to be the next mastermind. And It's forcing people to get out of it, right? Sure, you got kids, got it. They're going to be okay if they're with grandma for a little bit.
Yep.
Sure, you've got your business going, and you may feel like it's going to die if you don't work from Wednesday to Monday of the next week. I can promise it won't. But what will happen is you will get clear about your purpose, and then we're going to talk about how you amplify the message, right? Once we figure out what the purpose is, there's a mess in everybody's life. What is that message? We'll pull that message out so that you can share that with other people to attract more to you. and then amplify it, right? Logan talked about 20,000 views on social media. What if you could get 20,000 eyeballs? I guess it would be 40,000 eyeballs on your message in a week. What could that do for your business? What could that translate into? So we're going to talk about amplifying the message, and then we're going to talk about enlarging the tribe, right? Getting those people to you. And you don't need everybody, but you need a smooth 100, somewhere between 100 and 1,000, depending on how big you want your business to be. And then the last piece is just being the change. What are you going to commit to in order to live this stuff out? And so when you go back to the storm that is going to be waiting for you, it doesn't ever go away. You can walk in clarity. And, you hear Logan talk about his four, right? Faith, family, fitness, and fun. I think.
Future.
Fun the fourth one? Future. Future's fun.
That's right.
He's got the clarity on those four. But what are your four? What are your five? What's your one? If you can't answer that question, then you need to be extracted. And so we're going to come in, we're going to slay the dragons, because I can tell you that probably the prison that you're trapped in is you're scared to share your story.
That's right.
You hear Logan talk about stuff that most people would never say. And because he's willing to talk about it, he's free. Right? And so what's keeping you in bondage? What's keeping you caged up? And how can we shape a message around it so that you're comfortable sharing it and you know that you're helping impact and influence people that are around you? Because those are the people you can serve the best.
Woo! I am stoked. I'm stoked to get to St. Lucia. Hope my wife comes with me. I would be okay if the kiddos stay home for a little bit. It would be all right with me. But anyways, Jay, where can people find out more about this? Compressors, listen up.
Listen, if there's spots left, it's going to be at myersmethods.com/extraction. I'm taking the site down once the 20 rooms are gone.
There we go.
And you'll just have to figure it out.
All right. Well, the quote was already said, but you hear us talk about Tim Grover a lot. It's not because we're obsessed with Tim Grover. It's because we're obsessed with his message, and it's not the same message you're going to hear from a lot of people. Winning is not a marathon. It's a sprint with no finish line. Rome was not built in one day. It was built every day for thousands of days. Now, that being said, it's important to know what you're building, and that's what Jerome is talking about right there. But it's also important to know that it's okay to sprint every single day. If you have that feeling that somebody's chirping in your ear all the time, that's okay. You might be labeled as weird. You might be labeled as the guy that won't stop. When you hear those things, put that in the cookie jar. That's a good thing. Take that cookie and put it right in the jar. Say, thank you, drop it in. Thank you, drop it in. I'm going to eat that one later. When the going gets tough, I'm going to pull it out because I won't stop. You won't stop because we're winning every single day. Winning is not a marathon. It is a sprint with no finish line. Jay, thank you so much, man. Super stoked about the Extraction podcast. I'll give you guys an update on how the eulogy, the funeral goes over the next couple of weeks on all of the different things that I'm working on and this new journey of weight loss that I'm going on. So without further ado, I'm going to go swing some golf clubs.
Out.
Hey, compressors, if something you heard struck you, made you feel a little bit uncomfortable, good. Head on over to compressionpodcast.com. And then you can also subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast at. If you feel inclined to, please leave us a review. It's obviously helpful. But instead, I'm going to call you out today. I'm going to call you out and make sure that you do your part, sharing this message by sharing it with one person that might need to hear what we talked about today. Be great. Nothing else pays.